who's one of the surprise teams of the year. All right, I believe that does wrap it up for us in college football. We move to the NFL. Noah, start us off, and we are talking about injuries in the NFL.
Yeah, we've got a lot of major injuries right now in the NFL. For the upcoming NFL Sunday, we're going to start with one of the premier wide receivers in the NFL. A.J. Green of the Cincinnati Bengals will not play Sunday as a result of an aggravation to an injury to his right big toe. He is in a walking boot. He was carted off practice recently and was at first listed as questionable, but now is out. He and fellow wide receiver Marvin Jones will miss the game, and they are not sure whether or not this will have any long-term effect, though he will not require surgery. This is his second game out with this injury.
All right, then we move on to Calvin Johnson, Megatron. He's still dealing with a recurring ankle injury, and he did not practice all week. According to beat writer Dave Burkett, he will most likely sit out the game against the Vikings this Sunday, though he's listed as day-to-day. The game in Minnesota kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now we move to a former Minnesota Vikings player in Toby Gerhart of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has a foot injury, but is not known what it is exactly, but he wasn't at practice Friday and was later ruled out Sunday against the Titans.
Yeah, and because we can't go on battling about injuries, there are some others, though, that you should look out for. Reggie Bush, running back of the Detroit Lions, is listed as day-to-day, as well as Joe Hayden, who had limited practice, and Donald Brown, who was officially ruled out this Sunday with a concussion, giving the reins to Brandon Oliver.
Alrighty, that brings us to one of the bigger stories in the NFL recently, Adrian Peterson. Prosecutors are looking to take away his bail and have him rearrested after learning that Peterson told a drug tester that he had used pot before a drug test Wednesday. This would be in violation of his bail, and he could end up actually spending time in jail. Now, for Adrian Peterson, this is a continuing saga after he is going up in trial for child abuse charges after he reportedly used a switch or a tree branch to discipline his child. Peterson is saying he was just being a good father, while the prosecutors are trying to say that this was full-on child abuse. Either way, it is still unlikely that Peterson will end up playing in the Vikings uniform ever again.
Okay, so we move on now to our last centerpiece of the day. And this, I think, connects with Adrian Peterson a bit. The whole abuse, violence, this more to domestic abuse. Jerry Angelo, the ex-general manager of the Chicago Bears, came out and said, recently, I made a mistake. I was human. I was part of it. I'm not proud of it. We knew it was wrong. For whatever reason, it just kind of got glossed over. I'm no psychiatric, so I can't really get into what part of it is. I'm just telling you how I was. I've got to look at myself first, and I was part of it, but I didn't stand alone. Of course, it referring to domestic abuse and glossing over it. But recently, in fact, today, he recanted the statement saying that the hundreds and hundreds was taken totally out of context. Angelo said via CSNChicago.com, when I was making a point to this person, I was making a point that over my 31 years in the National Football League, I've seen a lot of changes. There are hundreds and hundreds of things over those years that I've seen that have gotten better. Domestic violence is one of those. There were no hundreds of domestic violence cases. I have no knowledge of that or have any idea how I would authenticate that. That was never the intent of the writer's conversation with me. Carl, what are your thoughts on Jerry Angelo's original comments and just the domestic violence issue as a whole?
Alrighty. I think that the NFL is trying to get back some of the credibility that it's lost in this situation. It doesn't help when general managers are going out and saying this. I think his second statement is completely baloney. I mean, he's trying to cover up his footsteps that are clearly, these are footsteps that are in cement, and he's trying to go back over and cover them with sand and say, oh, no, I wasn't here. No. I mean, it just seems ridiculous. I think that the domestic violence thing is an issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a call from, somebody high up in the NFL saying, what are you doing out there? And then he tried to recant it. But the problem is, you know what? Once you say something, you can't get that back.
Yeah, it's a big issue. Mike Ditka, ex-Bear, came out and said something even more controversial, saying, basically, if you're not part of it anymore and you didn't do something then don't say anything, ever. Basically now we're going back to Joe Paterno and you should never say anything ever. Mike Ditka maybe should be disappointed himself. Moving on now to the NHL, which kicked off Wednesday, but we have some scores from yesterday, and we will start with the Blue Jackets, who defeated the Sabres 3-1. The Montreal Canadiens won 2-1 final after a shootout. Plekanec scored his third goal of the year for the Canadiens. The Devils and Flyers high-scoring 6-4 win for New Jersey. The Penguins with a big win, 6-4. Crosby scored 2 goals in that game. The Red Wings defeat the Bruins 2-1 in a great game. Final after overtime, Lightning over the Panthers 3-2. The Blackhawks defeated the Dallas Stars after a shootout 3-2 there. Then on to the Senators and Predators, where the Predators picked up a 3-2 victory. Oilers, just got crushed by the Flames 5-2. And last but not least, the newly changed name, Arizona Coyotes, suffer a horrible start to the year. A 6-2 defeat at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets. Carl, top performers.
All right, we move on with the top performers from that night. Zach Parise, a goal, 2 assists, 9 shots on goal, and +4, of course. If you're a fantasy team owner, that is quite the night for you. Pascal Dupuis, a goal, 3 assists, 5 shots and goals, and +4. Sidney Crosby picked up 2 goals and assists, +2, furthering himself as one of the best players in the NHL, if not the best. Dustin Jurasky, a goal, 1 goal against, 29 saves in the win, and Minnesota Wild goalie Darcy Kuemper had the shutout with 16 saves. All right, that is all we have for you today on ISNow. Thank you for listening so much. All right, Noah, any final words on this show?
Just thank you for tuning in, everybody out there. We really appreciate all the support. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow all of our pages. Follow us on Spreaker. Every single like, every single follow, every single play, every single share, very appreciated.
Alrighty. And then I'm Carl Bogline. It's been an honor being with you. And before we go, I would like to wish my good friend Noah Taborda luck as he's applying to college. And you know what? Any university would be lucky to have him. This has been ISNow. It's October 10th, 2014. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.